Good morning, everyone. For those who are here, for those who are joining us virtually, the last day of Chanukkah is called Zot Chanukkah. Parshat Naso Zot Chanukat Habayit. And I never personally experienced that until now. We've actually been having dedications like this all week, at night, in the rain, small groups. So today feels like that Zot Chanukat Habayit, where we have invited all of you to be here today to celebrate true Nesiim, princes, leadership of our community, at a dark time, but for a powerful moment. We had Old Timers Night on Tuesday night, where we asked people who are third generation, second generation parents, and third generation students of SAR, 3 generations SAR students who are here, the Wieners, the Coopers, and many others who have been part of this community for so long. That was a beautiful celebration. We had Bronx Night, where we had a beautiful and meaningful dedication. Proceeds from the Marshall Jewish Center, the Old Bronx. And it was Rabbi Herschel Schachter's wish that proceeds from that shul would be dedicated to the future. And we celebrated that with his family. Another meaningful night. And on Thursday night, we celebrated our ELC faculty. People who graced this building and our it's not the old building, it's the building, original, beautiful carriage house that we loved, that we miss. But we recognized the people who make this place special. In Halakha, there's a concept of panim chadashot, when you have new people, when you bring people for the first time to celebrate something, that adds to the simcha, and that's the way it's felt each and every day. So Zot Chanukat Habayit She'achiyanu v'kiyimanu v'higiyanu lazman hazeh. Thank you for being here today. We wanted to have one during the day. We wanted to give you the view. We hoped for the weather. We basically got it. Thank you, thank you. Thank you to Sarah Hassan and Heidi Greenbaum, our development department. People who have actually, it's not just 4, we had a 5th dedication, which I'll speak about in a moment, every single day, pretty much for a week straight. Thank you to Nick Fada, who built this building, together with the other stuff he does on his day job. 2 years of very, very hard work. Thank you for all that you do, Nick. Thanks a lot. To Hila Stern, who's got a beautiful eye, who's made the spaces, some of our spaces, the main building and the high school, and now here. So beautiful, so welcoming, so inviting. We look forward to celebrating you among other heroes, because this building came, oh, there you are. This building came at the right time. We would not have been able to have 950 kids in school every day without these extra 36,000 square feet. So thank you to all for making this possible. Thank you too. There's so many people here who make this institution run, to Rabbi Hartstark, Rabbi Kroll, Sharon Richter, Beth Pepper, Rebecca Astronagata, Pearl McGinsey, Deborah May, people who I feel blessed to work with each and every day, the different places and the different spaces and the different parts of this institution, but really make it the special place that it is. Thank you to the members of the executive committee who are here. Thank you to the learners and to Mrs. Eva Deutsch. Thanks for being here. What a special, special surprise, and really, really nice to have you here. And thank you for the dedication of the spaces that you have dedicated here. Thank you to the Liebermans, David and Lauren Lieberman, for being here and for all that you do for this community. Linda and Michael Jesselson, you got your coffee, you found it. Okay, good. Linda and Michael Jesselson, your family and you are models of everything that this day represents. We walk into the Academy building every day, which bears your name and your family's name, and you continue to be committed to the Jewish world and to this institution in beautiful ways, and it's really wonderful to partner with you. Of course, to the members of the New Earth family, the Rockdale families who are here today, and we will get to that in a moment. We are honored to have Rabbi Reuven Fink, the Rabbi of the Young Israel of New Rochelle, with us today. Our relationship and our partnership with the New Rochelle community is deep, is powerful, and is meaningful, and we thank you for being here to celebrate this and to celebrate the New Earth family this morning. On Tuesday, November 10th, this past week, we commemorated Kristallnacht. Some of you were part of a beautiful dedication that took place virtually. Well, we were here, but everyone else was not. Our Beit Midrash, which is dedicated to Mr. Ludwig and Mrs. Lali Zichrono Livracha Bravman. We spoke about the time that our symbols were stripped of their value by others. They tried to destroy us by destroying our buildings first, because symbols and buildings matter. The truth is, they knew, and we know, they are not the most important thing. We pray without a Beit HaMikdash. We never make the mistake of making the physical spaces and buildings more central than the people that occupy them. But at the same time, we know that they matter, that they enhance what we do with children, they allow creativity to be unlocked, and they allow things to happen. And when Nathan and Sandy Kahn were here the other night, Nathan was so involved in this project from beginning to end, and all of the projects that we do here, I wondered whether it was no coincidence that their German Jewish heritage, in connection to that night, is connected to their love, Nathan's love, of glass in our buildings, of glass that allows for openness, of glass that allows for light to shine through and for light to shine out. For that to be who we are, and for those to be the spaces that our children are able to be part of each and every day. It's people that make things happen. Yesterday, Eliezer Eved Avraham was sent to find a wife for Yitzchak, and he says twice. I didn't realize this till yesterday. He says it twice. Ulai lo toveha isha, and the second time, Ulai lo telecha isha acharai. But the second time it's spelled without a vav. Maybe she won't come with me. Maybe she'll choose not to be part of this mission. And Rashi says, Ulai without a vav, he's hinting Elai, maybe she'll come to me instead. But I think what Rashi is teaching us is the power of that word, Ulai. When you inject doubt into something that you're trying to do, when you inject doubt into your own ability to accomplish something, that simple word, Ulai, when used the wrong way, we all know it. It could just burst a bubble. It can take away our confidence. It can allow us to not pursue things that can be great. So we're standing here today with the pandemic numbers rising, with the ability to say, and even in certain ways logical to say, Ulai lo, maybe we can't. But that doesn't work. And that's not the way the leadership of this community, and that's not the way the people here today have ever thought. Ulai yesh 50 tzadikim b'toch ha'ir. You try to use the power of the word Ulai to say, maybe we can. We teach our students. Growth mindset talks about it all the time. Ulai yesh, maybe we can, not yet, but we can. And that's the way this community works. That's how this happened. And that's why we're able to be here today, and that's why we're able to bring 950 kids into our buildings and into this beautiful space every day. At the helm of that are Jack and Gitti Bentime, Jack and Gitti wanted to be here, but they were here with us virtually. At least they were a few minutes ago. I'd like to ask Jack to say a few words in honor of today. Thank you.
Thank you, Benny.
A little bit louder.
Welcome, Rabbi Fink. It's always great to see you at SAR.
Jack, a little bit louder for you on your side,
Louder on my side?
if you can.
That's finding another button. If I get closer, is better?
Yes.
Okay. When I started with Kavod Rabbanim, welcome, Rabbi Fink. It's always good to see you at SAR. Just a few words.
Hey, John.
A few special words.
Okay, everything okay?
Yeah, where does this one draw from?
Huh? The back.
Hold on one second. Okay, hold on one second.
Yeah, it's the same one. This one and that one is going.
This one and that one are the same one.
Yeah.
Okay.
1 second, Jack. Give me 1 more second.
Yeah, that's fine.
Go ahead.
You know, I am sure, and this is really what a few words I'm saying are in honor of Steve and Natalie. I am sure, Steve, when Rabbi Krauss called you a few years ago to make the anchor gift for the ELC building, you most likely really looked at the phone and said, is this guy crazy? I mean, the odds are you're not going to have any more kids coming to the ELC. As far as you knew then, you had no grandkids. It's like even knowing now, you have no grandkids on the way. And you're thinking, why should I do this? But in your magnanimity and your great ability to be a leader, you agreed and you did it. And literally, as Benny said before, without that gift and without the building of the ELC, the whole school, SAR Lower School, could not have opened. It was only with that creation of that space, which, believe me, none of us contemplated 2 years ago, and you didn't either, but you agreed to do it, you led, and because of that, you know, midei lo lishma ba lishma, you know, you just agreed to do it, and because of that, we were able to open the whole school. So on behalf of the whole school, I want to thank you. Thank you for your foresight, unseen foresight. And you and Natalie, you're just amazing people. So thank you. And Gitti and I are sorry we decided not to join you today, but numbers are rising and we're not getting any younger. So welcome everyone. And again, thank you.
Thank you, Jack and Gitti. Thank you. Thank you. When I came to SAR as a student in 1981, Marcia, you were here. You were learning about SAR education from Rabbi Schwartz, Zichrono Livracha, and Rabbi Fold. When I came back in 2005, you were a teacher and a mentor to me. For 10 years, I watched you lead from the front, loving children and doing what you do so well. And then, with so much pride, you passed on the leadership to a teacher you worked with and adored. Alana, you have kept the age-old values of this institution intact, and you have boldly forged a vision which merges the old and the new. Not only have you become a visionary educational leader, but an architect, a designer, even dabbled in the legal a little bit. I am thrilled to introduce Alana Rifkin-Gelnick to share some reflections on this building and to ask our mentor and teacher, Marcia Jacobowicz, to share some words of bracha.
No. Hi, everyone. Okay. It's truly an honor to be standing here amongst this special group of people. You have all signaled clearly, loudly, and often for all to hear that our work here is essential. And it is because of you, our devoted and beloved lay leadership, that we are enabled to sustain and grow the incredible environment that you know as SAR. The entire SIR team is grateful for your unyielding commitment, and our new ELC stands here today as a testament to your efforts. Thank you. Natalie and Steve Neuwirth epitomize what it is to be part of this exceptional group. Giving in all forms to our institution is a badge of honor that they wear proudly, and I'm proud to say that through my time at SIR and with their family, I have seen this firsthand. One of my first students as an assistant teacher in the second grade was Oren, and my first interview as associate principal was Nunu. Through the perspective of a teacher, then as an administrator, and now as a resident of this magnificent structure, I'm grateful to have had the opportunity to get to know you over the years, and I'm thankful for your willingness to embrace this project from the very beginning. At the beginning of this amazing journey, as our time in the carriage house was coming to a close and a wonderful new chapter in our ELC story was about to start, I decided to write an anecdotal for the place that we called home for 48 years. So as we find ourselves here, standing on top of this amazing new structure, I moved to share a follow-up. Dear new ELC, it's hard to believe that you have only just rejoined the SIR family. Though we pivoted and shifted in your absence, it feels impossible to imagine that we were ever able to do this without you. Instantly, you became a vital member of our ELC community, and you have already left an indelible mark. Your inherent warmth has been magnetic from the outset, and your space was immediately sought after by teachers and students of all age groups. Your added brightness and zest for color are equally beautiful and inviting. You are leading by example and exceeding our expectations. With you, we could always expect warmth and flexibility, which is why it feels crazy to say that you've elevated yourself in this area, but it's true. With your welcoming disposition, you not only created a fast home for 250 ELC students, but you also welcomed 85 guests from the first grade. And you did this without moving a wall or adjusting a pipe. Such a role model of Hachmasat or Chim, you put on hold the hopes of a sensory gym and indoor play space, and instead prioritize the need to provide a warm home for students in need. Though you may be a new construction, you exhibit the maturity of a centuries-old castle, placing the larger needs of the community in front of your own, exuding all that we teach and establishing the standard for all to follow. You exude confidence without arrogance. Just a short time ago, your footprint held a 12,000 square foot building, and now you have sprouted to triple that. And yet, no matter how large you grow, you never lose sight of your essence, the foundation of openness on which you were built. The glass that spans your exterior and envelops each classroom maintains that defining characteristic and furthers your mission. Even through this pandemic, you enabled us to stay safe and open. You create opportunities for climbing, running, and jumping, and never settle for anything less. For any other structure, it would be exhausting to have children running around your walls and through your halls all day and every day. But not for you. You revel in it, feed off of it, and thrive in it. You are electrified by it. You are deliberate and methodical. Every detail, no matter how big or small, is important to you. You cared enough to coordinate your carpet tiles with the color of each respective floor. You decided to begin counting your floors from 0 because it was important to you to teach an appreciation for the value of 0. Marcia, that one was for you. And your classrooms are inviting and open-ended, both in thought and in practice. The children control the experience as the teachers guide incredible transformations, and your furniture plays an integral role in the imagination machine. A loft one day, a hospital the next, an apple orchard the following week, and a voting station later on. When your building is an open-ended wonderland, the sky is no longer the limit. What has not changed, though, is the core of who you are. You have always created a space and continue to create a space for all to find their opportunity to shine. You know how lucky you are to have this exceptional group of educators in your midst, and the amazing relationship between you and them has quickly rekindled. I can't wait to see what you come up with next. As we look back on the time that has passed since you were just a 12,000 square foot carriage house, and we take stock of the project that brought us to this point, I can't help but marvel at the accomplishment that you are and the success that you represent. So many people were instrumental to you during your formative months as we carried the idea of you into reality. Rabbi Krause was committed to making you spectacular. He pushed the project forward and never allowed for complacency nor nostalgia to inhibit the realization of that goal. With Nathan Kahn at the helm, you knew everything would come together effectively and efficiently. Nathan's a lot like you, deeply passionate about our community, relentlessly committed to its growth and success, and an inspiration, humbly so, to all who have had the privilege to work with him. Hila Stern was committed to ensuring you looked your best. She spent hours thinking about you, your perfectly sized cubbies, and your carpet that was both functional and beautiful. And of course, you would not be standing here beneath us today if not for Nick and his exceptional handiwork. He literally built you with his own two hands, and as we have come to expect but never take for granted, Nick did an unbelievable job. What you know better than anyone or anything is that for us at SAR, children are at the center of everything. They matter most, and they are the center of our universe. The work that we do within your glass walls is life-altering and has the power to shape the world. Stay bright, stay warm, and stay open. Our promise to you is that we will never stop growing, and we will never stop creating. Thank you for being a perpetual reminder that anything is possible. On a personal note, I feel so lucky that Marcia Jacobowitz is here with us today. Many of you have had the privilege of entrusting your precious children at their most formative stages to Marcia during the course of her illustrious 50-year career at SAR. To me, though, she is a mentor, a friend, and the reason I decided to join the SAR community. Marcia, your vision for this program continues to guide us, and our new home is that vision coming to life. Thank you.
Sorry to have to correct you, Alana. Not quite 50. I'm not quite that old. I'm getting there. Old enough that I still have to wear the mask. I can't quite take it off. I hope you'll forgive me. I'm amazed. I'm overwhelmed. I can't get over how many people are here and how people stay for generations. Their children have long left. Their grandchildren are here, or maybe they've left as well, and they still continue. My wonderful grandchildren who are in the Academy building have been keeping me up to date on the progress about the ELC. One day they came over and said excitedly, you know, the ELC should really be renamed the big building. It's so huge. There's going to be so much space for all the little kids. I may have detected a little jealousy in their voices. Another day, they came in, reported that the buildings are connected. No more running out in the pouring rain or cascading snow from one building to the other. A dream come true. It's not? Oh, I thought they told me they were connected. I'll have to talk to them about it. Listening to them, I was awash with memories. I don't know how many of you remember when we used to give little children apple juice. And in the corridor, that tiny narrow corridor, were cartons and cartons and cartons of apple juice. I remember when the teacher's room and the administrative office shared the same space. And whenever the phone rang, all the teachers had to be hushed because otherwise the secretary couldn't hear a thing. And when the kids went out to recess, the teachers had to remember that pitcher of water because there was no water found. And when they finished the pitcher, the kids had to run in and get more. I remember when the kids ate their lunches in the classrooms. Don't ask. Vic knows what a mess that was made and how glorious it was to see them eating, but how complicated. So many memories, so many. Yet there was a dream. There was a dream by the teachers, the administrators, and parents that someday there would be an ELC that was spacious, well-equipped, and able to serve as a role model for schools around the world. Well, that dream has been achieved, Baruch Hashem. How did it happen? Rabbi Krauss, you know how to make things happen. Despite COVID-19, he persisted and exceeded in achieving that dream. We are now standing within the manifestation of that successful dream. Stephen and Natalie Newworth dreamt the dream, and many others made it financially possible for the SAR to construct this magnificent structure to serve our precious children. And when Alana Gelnick takes on a task, she doesn't lose focus or dedication until every last detail is taken care of. She created spaces for everything that one can dream of in an ELC facility: outdoor areas, libraries, storage areas, attached bathrooms, etc. She dreamt the dream, and she didn't stop until it was accomplished. It is pure nachas to stand here today and visualize all the little children who will benefit from the dream-fulfilling actions of these people and many, many others who are standing here as well as all the previous principals of SAR who dreamt the dream and helped move us along to this realization. My bracha to you is that you will be zocha to see thousands of children over the years benefit from your dedicated effort, and that SAR continues its role of educational leadership for the entire global Jewish community. I love SAR, and please God, I look forward to continuing to shep nachas from its many successes to come. Thank you, Rabbi.
Thank you. Thank you, Marcia, and thank you, Alana. Is everyone comfortable? I just wanted to confirm. Okay, it is really important and something that we do. We'd like to really recognize the ELC faculty who are here today: Chavi Zatz, Michelle Halpert, Paulette Morris, Rena Rossman, Liz Spivak. Thank you all for what you each and every day, what you do every day. To Miriam Pell, it was really important to us and to Steve Natalie that you're here today. We're so happy to bring you back. You told me that you might consider it. We'll talk.
Allez, viens dans mon téléphone, viens.
And Natalie, you are people of passion.
Voilà.
I feel blessed to have gotten to know you as a parent, a friend, chair of the finance committee, and a Baal Chesed for well over a decade. I think the first project you were passionate about that we discussed together was a music program. More recently, the middle school construction. And even when you were chair of the finance committee, you said, yeah, you might have been right that we should have built it even before we had all the money committed, which was really, really kind of you. You called me on Erev Rosh Hashanah, I think you told me that, because you were so happy to see that gym there. And then, of course, this project. I never thought until this week of Abraham as a litigator. Abraham, when Hashem was going to destroy Sodom, Chalila lach hashofet kol haaretz lo ya'aseh mishpat. Can we talk about this, God? He litigated the case for Sodom, in that case unsuccessfully, but his message mattered. Steve, you ask questions that can sometimes be hard, but they're real. And those questions allow things to happen, and you are truly a model of Ulai Yesh. Natalie, sorry that you cannot be here in person. We are so grateful to you for all that you do for this community. You are a strong leader, a modest leader, a passionate mother, and someone who cares so much about education and about community. I know how much it meant to both of you to dedicate this building to your father, Maya Raktin Zichronali Bracha, and Yibadel L'chaim in honor of Mr. Paul Newworth, who is with us here today virtually. Thank you for being part of this. Thank you for honoring us with all of this, and thank you in advance for saying a few words on this occasion. Thank you, Steve.
Rabbi Fink, Rabbi Krause, Rabbi Harkstark, and Rabbi Kroll, and everyone who is here today in person and on Zoom. As Rabbi Krause mentioned, I'm speaking here today also on behalf of Natalie, who's participating on Zoom. So Jack, there actually was a reason we did this. The Early Learning Center had a tremendous impact on our children. It was not only the start of their Jewish education, but it laid the foundation for everything to come later. It's really difficult to overstate our appreciation to the ELC faculty. We knew that SAR was the right school for our family when we attended an open school night model class taught by Miriam Pell, and our son Oren was truly blessed to be in Maura Miriam's incredible 3-year-old nursery class that year. In the years to come, amazing teachers like Maura Elaine, Maura Esther, Maura Chavi, Maura Rita Rivka, and so many others enlightened and inspired our sons to have big dreams, to ask difficult questions, to learn from and respect different opinions, to value books and reading, to love Torah, and perhaps most importantly, to believe in themselves. And it wasn't just the talent of the ELC teachers, it was the true love with which they taught. And we experienced that love firsthand when Maura Chavi Satz approached us with genuine kindness to let us know that our son Eli appeared to have difficulty listening in class and seemed very tired. She suggested that we take Eli to have his hearing checked. And it turned out that in fact, he needed surgery to correct a condition that was impeding both his hearing and his sleeping. To this day, whenever people ask me what is special about SAR, I tell them about what Maura Chavi did for Eli. Marcia Jacobowitz oversaw the ELC during the years our children were there. She built a remarkable institution that remains her legacy. And it was thus beautifully fitting that when our son Oren, whose education was so impacted by the ELC, went after high school to Yeshivat Torah Moshe in Israel, one of his first rebbes was Marcia's son, Rebbe Jacobowitz. So when Rabbi Krause approached Natalie and me about the construction of a new ELC building, we were filled with a sense of gratitude for all that the ELC has meant to our children and so many hundreds of others. But we also were filled with a sense of gratitude to our own fathers, who from the time they were very young devoted themselves to our educations. My father, Paul David Neuwirth, grew up in what was then the Jewish neighborhood of the South Bronx, and he attended what was then the Jewish Ivy League school called City College. Education was always a priority for my father. After he became a CPA in private practice, he still made time to teach night school at Baruch College twice each week. From an early age, I remember my father telling me how happy he was to be helping students who were often struggling to advance themselves at night school after working through the day to support themselves or their families. My father always made choices to advance our education. When we moved to Philadelphia, I remember that his highest priority in deciding where to live was to be near the best schools. My father taught my brothers and me that books are central to our lives. He maintained many shelves of his books, and he encouraged us to have and to value our own libraries. My father also ensured that my brothers and I had a strong Jewish education. Although we did not attend a Jewish day school like SAR, my father arranged for us to attend what was at the time a very strong after-school program for 6 hours per week. And our home was filled with great values and priorities that guided us. As I've gotten older, I've come to realize the many sacrifices that my father, without any complaint, made to ensure that my brothers and I always could have access to the best educational opportunities and could emerge from them debt-free. We thus could think of no more fitting way to honor my father, and more importantly, to say thank you, than through support of a building at the school his grandchildren attend. Natalie's father, Mayor Waknin, Zichron Libracha, was a beautiful person. He was a pious man devoted to his family, to Torah, and to Am Yisrael. He lived in Casablanca, Morocco, where Natalie grew up, but we were so fortunate that he often visited us here. Natalie's father always looked so happy when he came to SAR, not only to see his own grandchildren, but to see many Jewish children learning together. He revered rabbis and he loved Torah and Torah learning. It is so fitting that 4 of his grandchildren are now among the first students this year in the new ELC building. Our Mora D'Atra, Rabbi Reuben Fink, very perceptively captured something so special about Mr. Waknin. Rabbi Fink said that Mr. Waknin was such a pious man with so much respect for rabbis, but that he also had a mischievous twinkle in his eye. It's true. Mr. Waknin could immerse himself studying the Zohar or reciting Tehillim, but then you could find him rolling on the floor with a huge smile as his young grandchildren climbed on top of him. At any simcha, he was going from table to table, bottle in hand, to make a l'chaim or 2 or 3 with anyone willing to join him. The Rav, Rabbi Joseph Soloveitchik, observed in words that I think apply beautifully to Mr. Waknin, that an older person may be wonderfully childlike, with a dreamer's naivete and excitement. The idealism of youth quite often shines through the eyes of the gray beard. In fact, great people are sometimes great children. They are rich and multi-talented because of their age. They are beautiful because of their honesty and sincerity. Thus, the Rav explains, Talmud Torah requires adulthood, but prayer and faith require childhood. And the Rav concludes that we must be ready for both. And this may explain not only what was so special about Mr. Waknin, but what is so critical about the ELC. The ELC does start our children on the long path toward adulthood. But perhaps most importantly, the ELC also teaches our children how to be children, something that we hope they will preserve sparkling within themselves even as they grow older. I'd like now to read a few words that Natalie wrote and asked me to share with you. Soon after my dad passed away the second night of Pesach, my siblings and I have been bombarded with calls, notes, emails, and texts about how kind, generous, welcoming, humbled, and warm my dad was. But what my dad was most of all is an out-of-the-ordinary, devoted dad. Never saying no, yet teaching us the limits. Spoiling us, yet keeping us grounded. Never raising his voice and teaching through actions more than words. He also loved spoiling every kid he encountered and putting a smile on their faces, often offering them candy. And so the association of his memory with a building full of happy children is just fitting. It is also very fitting to honor my father-in-law with a building full of kids learning. He himself allowed his boys the best education, which shall not be taken for granted. What also is not taken for granted is the wonderful and exceptionally great job that SAR has done and continues to do throughout very difficult circumstances and conditions. SAR does not give an education only. SAR makes sure to turn every single boy and girl into a real mensch. And while my own boys are past the ELC age, I am glad that my nephews, Nathaniel and Gabrielle, and my nieces Anna and Naomi are among the first kids to explore the new building. Many of you don't know, but one of my first jobs back in France was as a kindergarten teacher. While it is extremely rewarding, it also requires tremendous patience. And for that, I join Steve in thanking all the great teachers of SAR and the entire faculty for an amazing job. Thank you for giving Steve and me this opportunity. So in closing, let me first thank Natalie for giving me the honor to read her beautiful words. Natalie and I certainly would like to recognize the inspiration that Jack and Giddy Bentheim have provided us to support SAR. Their devotion to all of our children's education and to preserving and enhancing this wonderful school make them true role models. And we also want to express our thanks and admiration to Rabbi Krause, Rabbi Harkstock, and Rabbi Kroll. Your leadership has sustained our confidence in SAR's present and future. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Steve. I believe Mr. Neuwirth, Mr. Paul Neuwirth is with us and would like to say a few final words of bracha. Thank you for being here from where? Philadelphia? Philadelphia. Let's make sure we see him. 1 second, let's spotlight. How are you?
I am well, thank you.
Okay. Thanks for being here. It's cold.
Well, this is quite a wonderful occasion. This day has many honors. High honors go to Natalie and Stephen for using their resources to build the education foundation of children. I cannot think of a higher calling than to enhance the lives of those who are our future. It's a special honor for me to be recognized in the dedication of this facility. While I have been associated with education as a teacher for almost 5 decades, it was on the other end of the spectrum, at the university level in New York and in Philadelphia. The dedication today is a kind of closure to a long academic career. I look forward to the young folks who pass through this early education facility, one day matriculating at universities, building on the foundation laid here. Finally, I am honored to be on the same program dedicated to Natalie's father, Meyer Wachnim. He represents all that is good and filled with love for others. It was my honor to know him. Thank you, and thank you all.
Thank you. Mr. Neuwirth, I invite you to a private tour of this building at a time that you can get out, that you can be here. We would really love to show you, and we know that you'll continue to be proud. Thank you for being part of this ceremony today. It's really an honor. Rabbi Fink, if I can ask you to just, we've been saying Mizmor Shir Chanukat Habayit David as a tefillah every day of this week of Chanukah for us, of Chanukat Habayit. I know how much your presence and your Torah means to the Neuwirth family and to all of us. Thank you. Hopefully we'll stay on.
מזמור שיר חנוכת הבית לדוד, ארוממך אדוני כי דליסני ולא שימח באויבי לי. אדוני אלוהי שיבעתי אליך ותרפאני, אדוני העליסה מן שאול נפשי, חייסני מיד דיבור. זרמו אדוני חסידו והודו לזכר קודשו, כי רגע באפו חיים ברצונו, בערב ילן בכי ולבוקר רינו. ואני אמרתי בשלבי בעלמות לעולם, אדוני ברצונך, העמדת להרי עוז, הסתרת פניך, ייסנך, אליך אדוני אקרוב, אל אדוני אסחנון. מבצע בדמי ברית אל שחס, יודך עפור, היגיר עמיתך. שמע אדוני וחנני, Adonai hayei ozer li. Hofachta mispedi l'machol li. Pitachta saki v'tazmini simcha. L'ma'an yizamecha chavod v'lo yidom. Adonai Elohai la'olam odecha.
Thank you all for being here. Mazal Tov. And this is what's going to happen now. I'm going to ask you to direct your attention to the screens just to get a little sense of what happens here when we have kids in the building. I'm going to ask you to please take the food on these tables. The kids can't have it tomorrow. It's not going to work. So please take the food, take it home with you, eat it here. And please also space yourselves. There are 3 ways to get down.
Yeah.
There's an elevator. There are two and a staircase on this side and on that side. So please just space it out. And thank you. Mazal Tov, and thank you for being here. Here comes the sun. Go ahead. Who's the 3 of us?
We're so excited to see you.
John. No, okay. Okay, good. We're good. Close. Okay.
Do you know what her name means in Hebrew?
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, Adam Arishon.
Do you know how long it takes for a person to write a Torah? I see some letters that have like some crowns on them. Did anybody find the crowns on some of the letters?
Here's yours. Oh, hey, you got disappointed too, and it's right next to the other one. You know what disappointed means? Hey, good morning. Let me check you in. I'm going to take your temperature.
I got to hear it twice. Yeah. Well, folks. You all right? Great. That's so great. That's